was contacted by a dealer who said she had something, a book dealer in Pennsylvania. She said, I think I have something you might be interested in. So I visited, and she had this this CDV of the Delaware 1st Regiment. And I said, I have a lot of questions. I said, first, I'd like to know who the soldiers are. I'd like to know when the picture was taken. And I said, I really would like to know if those flags in the photo are in the collection of the Delaware Historical Society.
Flags are of tremendous importance on the Civil War battlefield. And each regiment had two flags. One would be the national colors, the Stars and Stripes. The other would be a regimental flag. And the flag served both a symbolic, tactical, and psychological importance for the soldier on the field.
I found the name of the color guard sergeant, a soldier by the name of John M. Dunn. And he became the color sergeant for the 1st Regiment immediately after the Battle of Antietam. At Antietam, the entire color guard was lost.
There was no greater indignity for a regiment than to have its colors captured by the enemy. Likewise, there was no greater morale boost for a regiment than to capture the flag of the enemy. Because of the color guard's significance, they were always a target.
In my mind, it made sense to take the big step of finding out when the photo was taken. Immediately we're confronted with the first roadblock. Instead of one photo, the Historical Society has two photos. Not only did we have two photos of the same image, but we had two different photographers. We had a studio by the name of Garrett, and we had a studio, I think the other one was named Torbert. By studying back marks of other CDVs taken by Garrett in the Garrett studio, we were able to confirm that it was definitely Garrett's studio. So Andy suggested, let's get the papers and let's start looking for everything. Andy came over to me one day, he says, look at this. January the 1st, 1864, the 1st Regiment returned to Wilmington with a hero's welcome. And one of the paragraphs in that article said, and the soldiers had with them their tattered and torn from battle colors. Dunn is not only listed in the records as being the color sergeant for the 1st Regiment, he is the color sergeant of record being present in Wilmington in January 1864. There is no doubt that this photo was taken January 1, 1864.
We basically received this flag in 1884 from a veterans group, which is the 1st Delaware Regiment Veterans Group is the one that originally owned the flag and presented it to us. And we've basically had the flag in our collection since then. As you can see, it's in fairly tough condition because it's been through several battles. It was presented before the Battle of Antietam, went through several, and has actually also been at Gettysburg as well. So it's all made of silk and in surprisingly good shape for its age, considering how terrible 19th century silk was. But you can see we're actually hoping to make it a priority for conservation here. The actual paint itself is what's actually keeping the flag together at the moment, really. It's why the seal is in remarkably good shape. It's a fairly, the oil painting sort of soaked into the silk and kept it in reasonable shape.
We have very, very little of the flag to compare. But in each flag, we had a striking, unique comparison that you couldn't create or your imagination couldn't come up with. With the federal flag, with the Stars and Stripes, on the 5th stripe from the left, there's a defining tear, runs vertical, and Below that, there are two smaller tears. One is smaller than the other, and those identical tears on the identical stripe with the same identical spacing are in both flags. And in addition to that, there's a very large tear at the bottom that has a unique shape. And the portion of the flag that's missing is the same in both flags. And there's very, very little of the Delaware seal flag that is exposed. But the portion that is exposed shows a tear through the head of the character standing on the right in the exact portion of the forehead where it is torn in both. Each tear has a very, very unique end shaped sort of like an arrowhead, and it's identical on each of those.
And the fact that it's a one-of-a-kind Civil War flag, and these things, once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. So we need to preserve it for the future, because once it's gone, we don't have it anymore. And it's a relic of a time period in which a lot of people are interested, in which there's a lot of history, and it was a very important turning point for America as a country. I mean, it's one of those things that everyone can kind of, it's a touchstone for everybody to kind of, it starts conversations, and it's a great thing to preserve for the future.
I am still shocked. It has occupied all of my spare time since the middle of last year. And I am just thrilled. The first thing I said to Connie and Jennifer, my first words were, these are treasures. They really should be preserved. And they should be viewed. And the story should be told.